pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, this is a new setup.
This is our health class.
Yeah, change the tables around. Well, welcome to everyone that's here. We have anything signed for public forum? No?
Just Ava's here.
Okay, so we just have the Ava Gaida from Student Council to give a report.
I'm Ava, I'm a senior in high school and I'm a member of student council. To start, some of the high school events going on. Football is currently 2-0 and volleyball is about, I think it's 7-4. Upcoming volleyball has a game tomorrow night in Adrian and football is home this Friday against Lakeview. Also at the football game, we'll be supporting Harper Gravely by wearing your Harper Gravely shirts, or the whole school is planning on wearing red since that's her favorite color. Some student council events. With the new year, we have new freshman members that have joined our council. And we also, this week, have sent out a form to vote for our homecoming court and reps. Along with that, coordination is on Sunday, the 21st, to pick our king and queen for homecoming, which will lead us into our homecoming week, which is the 22nd through the 27th. Some events we have planned so far, we have glow-in-the-dark dodgeball, which we did last year and are planning to do again. We have lots of dress-up days planned, kickball, powder puff, and volleyball. And then we have a parade, and that started our planning for our floats. Last meeting we just discussed these details for homecoming and made some things official. And we are starting to plan some new games for the pep rally this year. And then our student body so far is doing great, even though we just started the year. We have continued using the yonder pouches and have started using hallway and bathroom passes, which maybe is not a crowd favorite, but it seems to keep people in class, so it's been working pretty well. And does anyone have any questions?
We should probably promote the meal for Friday too, Mr. Gossip. Is it 4:30 to 7, I believe, is what?
4:30 it starts.
4:30 to 7, there's a meal
Hamburgers for Harper.
for Harper. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You can stay or leave or whatever you want. Or is this part of your class?
I'm doing 2 and 1. I just-
That's why we have such a big attendance today. We'll try and keep it short, okay? Okay, so number 4 is to approve the agenda. I need a motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, and then I need a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right,
75.
5-0, motion passes. And we'll move on to item 5, the consent agenda.
I think this is the first time since I've been here that we've only had
All we have is the minutes from
1
last
minute
month.
from last meeting.
Anybody have anything they want to say about that? You did a great job.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion by Matt.
I'll second.
Who said second, Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, Alan, okay. I wasn't quick enough. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passed 5-0. Item 6, approval of the bills.
Yeah, I did not have anybody that called and asked about anything, and I don't know if there's any questions now. In looking at the bills, and I always look back to last year at this time. And so, last year the expenditures were $334,000, which is slightly higher than what we have this month. The manual checks were 11,000, but we have more this month, 101,000. And the payroll was 367,000 for a total of 713,000 a year ago. So we're up about 66,000. So,
Yeah.
if there's any questions,
The Marsh and McLennan Agency Package Policy, just what does that cover? That's page 1.
And which item are you talking about?
Marsh and McLennan Agency, there's 2 items, I just figured it had to do with insurance, but I might be wrong.
Marshall McKinnon, okay. So the first one is, the auto and the vans, and the 77,000 is, insurance package. And it's on, it covers all of our, liability and expenses of our building.
Is that an annual one or?
That's an annual fee. In our property insurance, that's with Valor, so that's a different agency.
Perfect.
Any other questions? Okay, I need a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as they are.
And have a second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 5-0. 7 is approval of the treasurer's report.
Okay, if you turn to the treasury report, on the front page there, in looking at, this year, we are at 4,838,000. Last year at this time, 4,704,000. So our starting balance, we're actually about 134.5 ahead of a year ago for our starting. Our receipts this last month, we had 1,439,000, almost 440,000. A year ago, we had 1,600,000. So it's a difference of $160,000 less than what we received last year at this time. As always, it's just timing, whenever the state gets those dollars sent out. Our disbursements though were this year 872,000. A year ago, 660, so our expenses were up 211,000 this month. So the net outcome going forward is that we are $238,000 behind where we were last year at this time. And then you can see all the checking accounts and everything that matches up to that same figure. Any questions on the treasurer's report?
Did we have any unusual expenditures or just,
No.
we're just
It's
off
just-
because we
Yeah,
haven't
it's
had
just,
it?
it's just timing. You just never know how it's gonna come in at the same time. This year, everything seems to be behind a little bit. Turning to the revenue versus disbursement report, you can see that this year, our year-to-date revenues are 1,862,000. A year ago was 1,909,000. So it's a difference. We're short 47,376 year-to-date revenues compared to last year. And if you look at our expenses year-to-date, 1,198,000 this year. Last year, 1,159,000. We are $39,000 higher in our expenses. So if you put those two together, it's a difference of $86,779 at this time. So that's where we are.
Have any questions on the report? Hearing none, looking for a motion to approve it.
I'll make the motion.
There's a motion by Alan, looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Second by Bob. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 8, we are to the reports. And first up is our principal, Barb Paulson.
Most of the things are in my newsletter, but we are kind of pushing our way through the fast bridge assessment because I really want to get our RTI groups going. And so we're doing the reading part so we can get those going by next week. And we're going to be close. We also had vision and hearing screenings for all of our students, and the Lions came in and helped with the vision screening. And then Mrs. Borman's FCCLA kids came and helped with where the students needed to go. We had 4 rooms back there that students were going to for the testing, and it worked great. So we're very happy to have that extra help. In a couple weeks, our 5th graders are going to go to the environmental fair. And I think they've done that in the past for 5th grade. We made a couple little changes to our lunch schedule, and it seems to be going smoothly for when 6th grade comes in. We were I think last year there was a little backup, so that's going well. I'm trying to send out monthly communications with families, and the program I'm using, I finally got my September one ready here, and sent it out today, and I had 207 views of it already, and that was at about 4:30 today. So hopefully I sent it out in the Smart or the Seesaw, because then parents can get it on their phone, and I also sent it through the JMC so they could get it on email, but they're looking at it. So, and I had one parent respond and just, thanks. And I know Jordan sends things out every day, but Jordan said too, sometimes parents don't look every day. So I kind of just did an overview in my newsletter. So that seems to be going well. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you for your report. I see Mr. Bartman's not here. Do you have anything you want to add to his?
I don't have
report?
any.
Okay, then we'll move on to Principal Gosson.
Well, I think Eamon did a great job talking about how things are going, so.
Maybe you should come every meeting.
Yeah, exactly. It's early on, obviously, but I think overall, the day-to-day operations are going very well. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is this the time to talk about the grade scale, Mr. Marlett?
Sure.
Okay, so, since I've been here, I've had multiple phone calls from parents and have had some teachers talk with me about this too. Why is our grading scale so much higher than neighboring schools? Several of our teachers, as you know, teach college classes, and the college scales that they go by are much lower than what we have at RTR. I could argue it both ways. I think what I really want you to know is the parents that call me, they're not concerned because they have a student that is on the lower half of that grading scale. Those parents don't call me. I wish they would, so I could talk with them about why their students on the lower half of the grading scale. The ones that call me are the ones that are on the upper level. And the argument that they always have is, when our students are working towards their class rank and their GPA and applying for scholarships, why doesn't our grading scale, why isn't it more aligned with what neighboring schools are doing, what a lot of other schools, what the colleges are doing? Our grading scale, our current grading scale, a 90% is a B. Most of the grading scales around us and other schools I've been at, a 90% is an A-. Alan and I talked a little bit about it just before the meeting too, and if every test was 100 points and there was 1 point per test, it's really pretty easy. And I can't sit here and tell you that all the grading is that way, because it's not. Teachers will have 10-point assignments, they'll have 5-point assignments, they'll have different values for their tests, for their quizzes, for their daily work. They even weight it differently. Teachers weight tests are worth more than assignments. So there's a lot that goes into it. But in talking with the teachers as well, I think, the biggest voice probably was some of those teachers that do teach the college classes. And they talked about, well, why can't we just go to what, we're doing for those? So I I'm in favor of changing it. I don't know if I have a definitive reason why, except for the fact that I do think that when our kids are applying for those honors, for those scholarships, for those things, they should be on a level playing field in terms of what their GPA is, reference to the grading scale as other schools are doing it. So Mr. Marlin and I have talked about this too, and
I actually have talked to about 8 of the surrounding school districts, looked at their scales. What Mr. Gossen has proposed there, I told him, I said, the only thing I can find I don't totally agree with is the A category. I think 93 is 1 point too low. I think it should be 94. And that's where the majority of us at in the surrounding schools if we're trying to match up. Other than that, they all match up really, really well. So I would, if we're gonna do this, I would like to see that at 94, and I talked to Rick about that.
and I changed that on my board report too. You know, the other thing that I want to do is, you know, if you can see, I did put decimals in there. And the reason I put decimals in there so that there's no controversy over which teacher rounds and which doesn't.
That's right.
It is what it is, you know. If you're 0.98%, it's not going up to the next percent, that's what it is. And that's what our grading scale would say.
So I told Mr. Gossen that we would present it to you tonight, and we'll have you think about it, and then we'll come back and put it as a motion into the next board meeting. And maybe at that time, if you have any input or anything on it, that'd be a good time for us to make a decision. And that's still plenty of time before the end of the first quarter.
Just at the right time, Mr. Harper.
That is something no one has ever said before.
So Mr. Harper is one of the teachers that I've talked with a lot about the grading scale. And, you know, he's also one of our teachers that does teach college classes in the classroom. And we were just talking a little bit about, you know, as our kids are growing their GPA and their ability to apply for different honors and scholarships and things, that we just want to be on a level playing field with neighboring schools and other schools.
Right, and I think that's, you know, that's something that, and maybe it's already been said, but we have students regularly, probably every year, who miss out on significant amounts of money because a GPA from Minnesota might not even have the same, might be a different percentage, might not even be as good as the grade the kid has actually achieved here. It doesn't reflect the same level of achievement that one of our top students does. But because those numbers are just a little bit skewed, that person has a 4.0, our kid has a 3.9, that kid gets the money. And so that's something that we've really wrestled with a lot over the years, I guess. So.
Any questions for me or Mr. Harper?
I can say
Alan's
this,
smiling over
being
there.
on the board, this has come up many, many times over the years I've been on it. And I think the consensus before was that we wanted them to really work hard to be prepared for college. And you know, now that it's coming down to a scholarship thing and it's getting more and more competitive, we probably have to look at it from that viewpoint too. I don't think we were really looking at it from that angle before. It was more, we really wanted them to work and to earn the grade. So it is time to revisit it.
Could I?
Yep.
I'm sorry, I don't want to interject. But
Nope.
the other thing is, as far as a college preparedness thing, I think having a higher grading scale has a little more counterintuitive effect than we realize a lot of times, because I know as a teacher, and especially back when our grading scale was even tougher than it is now, I always felt a lot of pressure. I want a kid to know this, and I want a kid to know this, and I want them to be able to do this. Well, if I hold them to that standard on our grading scale, it's not going to look good. So there are times where I've had to kind of softball things. There's times where I've had to kind of pitch lower than I want to, because I don't want to cut our kids' throats on our grading scale. And so I think there's that pressure, that kind of counterintuitive pressure for us as teachers. A higher grading scale ultimately kind of exerts a pressure to make us kind of ease up on the classes and make them not as challenging as they ought to be too sometimes.
Yeah, that's how where a lot of the board decisions came from before. That's why they were choosing to do it the way they didn't look at it from how we're looking at it now, so.
Is this something that we could change in the middle of the year or?
Oh, yeah.
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 So if we.
Especially if we get it done before the first grade in quarter.
So the first 9 weeks is done on October 31st, and we'll have a board meeting before then. So whichever decision the board makes, it would be nice to know at that time, just so we can.
Even on the guaranteed scholarships that a lot of the colleges have, there are thousands of dollars difference between a 3.4 to a 3.6 sometimes.
Right.
So we've been noticing that when we've been
Yep.
at 3 colleges lately. So
Yeah, and, you know, I see the merit of why you did this before.
Yeah.
But it's so competitive nowadays, which has changed.
A
A
lot,
lot.
it's changed a lot.
And I think our students deserve to be on an equal playing field with the other districts. So,
So as I listen to you talk, so this is one of the questions I asked Rick. Are you saying that you're moving the scale from 93 to 90 and suddenly a B+ student will be an A- student? Or are you adjusting your rubrics so that you're going to grade slightly differently so that your range of work goes to a 90? But is A- work now B+ work or vice versa? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I guess I would answer your question with the same question. You know, if a student right now at RTRs is getting 90%, are they a B student? Or are they A- student?
Well,
It's the same thing. It's just, I mean, I would like to think that our teachers are all teaching the content, the things that they think are important in their classroom. And I'd like to think that just changing the grading scale isn't going to, I guess, in my mind, I hope they're doing what they should be doing now, regardless of what the pay scale is. And I heard what Mr. Harper said about, you know, not necessarily holding them to the standard he wants to hold them to. But we've all been in that college class that the highest score was 70%. And what did that kid get? He got an A because they went on a bell curve. You know what I mean? It's a great question, Alan. I just don't know if I know how to answer it. One of our teachers here, I mean, what would you say to that, Eric? I mean,
I think, I think there is, I think to some extent, there is maybe a little bit of a wash there. Because there's a kid now who might be getting a B+ who probably fully deserves an A-. Is there a kid now who fully deserves a B+ and maybe they'll get some benefit from this? I mean, that's something that's gonna have to play out classroom by classroom and course by course. And that's something that also I think we as teachers are going to have to keep in mind and kind of keep that in mind as a responsibility as well, that, this is an opportunity for the kids, but it's also an opportunity for us to maybe tighten our belts a little bit too. And I think, so I think there's just, it's definitely something we need to be mindful of, but, and I guess I would kind of echo what Mr. Gossen said. Are we giving somebody an easy pass, or are we actually making their grade reflect what they've been achieving up to this point?
and on the other side of it, I think we've all had that teacher that you probably didn't get the grade that you wanted, but you learned a lot more than you did in another class where you maybe got an A. I mean, that's a difference between teachers and their methods and their expectations. And that's different across the board. I mean, depending on what class you're in and what teacher it is. I mean, everybody runs their classroom a little bit differently, obviously.
I feel like you're suckering me into an anecdote about how I was in class valedictorian because my dad made me take industrial arts all 4 years. And I got B's until my senior year when I got an A, but boy, did I learn a lot, right?
Yeah, that's right.
I think the concern I would have is for the parent who thinks, their student is a B+ student, that magically changing the scale is gonna make them an A- student. That from a school perspective, doesn't seem like that's how that should work exactly. So that would be my, as Mr. Harper said, you know, for instructors, trying to think how that scale would change. If it's that cut and dry, that if I had a 90 and now I'm, or an 80, whatever that cutoff is, and now I'm A minus, if that's how it works, that's fine, I suppose, if you think that's the proper way to go. But I'm just asking a question analytically. Mark Kleitz was his name. Yeah. Dream of five sometimes, but all right. Very well.
Any other comments?
No, so we'll bring it back next board meeting in October, and we'll put it as an agenda item.
Sounds good.
Talk about it again.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Murdo?
Yeah, I passed out, I always like to give you the enrollment figures. I always, I wanna know how many kids are actually sitting in the seats, you know? And so I asked my principals to really, go through that, where we are at. And so the first column there was where we finished up back on May 25th. Now, if you remember last year, we ran consistently in that 718 to 721 range. And then we got a little spurt right there at the end of the year. We picked up 5 or 6 kids and we got it up to 726. And I think if you remember, I said that's as high as we've been since I've been here, was a 726. We ran most of the year right around 720. As of right now, kids in the seat, we are at 702. Now, part of that is because of the change in the preschool. Last year we had 80, this year we have 69. We didn't accept quite as many applicants. We have a waiting list, but we just don't have the staff to handle it. And so we are down 11 kids in preschool. And as you remember, we do not get the actual funding like we get for the other kids. The state pays K through 12. So those 11 kids, we're not missing a lot of income, is what a lot of funding is what I'm trying to say. What I like to look at is the cross difference. And let me explain what that is. So if you take first grade, last year it was 33. And if you look at second grade now, as they move to the next year, you notice they're both at 33. So what was the difference in the size of that class? It did not change. You see what I'm saying there? But if you take, for instance, if you go over to the second grade last year, this year, that third grade class has 50 kids in it. So we lost 3 kids in that area. I always like to look at that chart because that really tells us where we're at as far as actual kids in those classes and how they're moving through our school district. And so if you look at that we're down 21, but again, you take that 11 off, so we're down to about 10. And if you I feel that last year we really did around 720. Even though we got that little spurt at the end, so that's another 6. So we're actually down a half a dozen is about what we're actually down. And so, you know, we have every year growing. We all knew it was going to level off, and this year it did level off. So that is our actual enrollment. And as we get to the next item there, I'm going to talk a lot about taxes and how this affects us with income and funding, but that is our actual enrollment at this time.
Thank you. That's very helpful.
Any questions on that at all? Clear as mud?
Makes sense.
That's very helpful.
Utilizing this space, has this been helpful with just less?
It is, yeah. We're using this for our health classes, and we we've moved health around about every year. I mean, it seems like trying to kind of our football, we move them around, but we brought them in here and we bought these tables and it's a little crowded, but I asked Mr. Warman, he said it's working fine. So. And we've done a lot of this kind of stuff around the building, guys. We need a room, which we all know.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Move on to,
I do have one other item, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
One of the questions, and I don't know quite how to answer this because we've never done it before, and I don't know how it would be done before. I have been asked by a couple staff if they would want to donate some sick days that they have on books to help, like for instance, with Harper. Would we ever allow that to happen? It's never been done. I guess there's it'd be great to, I really thanked them for coming in and talking to me and saying they want to do that, but I don't know quite how that would work, but I don't know what the board thinks about.
we had
Possibly
done it
doing
before
that.
you came, but
What's that?
I think we did do it before you had
Oh,
come.
really?
Yeah, but that was a long time ago.
You know, our staff can accumulate up to 90 sick days. So let's say a staff member has 90 and they want to donate 10 days or whatever they want to do. There's a chance that those 10 days would have never cost the district any money because they're at, you know what I'm saying? They're at their, so I guess as far as an expense, I think it would cost the district some dollars. It definitely would be something that we could help, you know, the families when something like this happens too. We do. I was asked that question today and I just told him, I said, I would just bring it up to the board. I don't know where your feelings would be at for that, but, so that's what I was doing.
I like the theory of it, but I'd like to understand better on if schools do this anywhere else and what their policies are and
Yeah, I could
how they
reach out
manage
and
it, what
ask.
it costs. Is there legalities of it, you know, things like that. I know other companies do things like that for when there's people in need, they can donate. They can donate vacation days or whatever it might be. And a lot of times that's all accrued, but I don't know how that works from our financials, so.
Yeah, I have a SOOP meeting coming up in another week, you know, I'll reach out and ask that question and see if anybody else is doing it.
Okay.
I just never been asked that till today, so.
We did it all the time when I worked for the government.
Really?
Yeah. But I
We
think,
have-
I think
We have
like we
something
did
at
it.
work too that.
So we'll come back and ask you
Yeah,
next meeting.
we have more information. Okay. Now we'll move on to number 9, approval of the proposed levy limitation and certification for 2025 payable and 2026.
Okay, every year, we need to give the counties, documentation showing, what we want to certify the local levy at. So in the past, we have always maximized the level of authority. And so we just simply tell, the county assessor and stuff that we want to, continue to get the maximum amount we can with our local taxes. And so I gave you a sheet here and I thought maybe you would enjoy kind of wondering where all the dollars come for a district and what it means. And so you see the front sheet there that kind of lays it all out and it gives you the amounts, but then if you look to the back, I took it item by item and I tried to show you exactly what all these figures mean, because you look at this initially and you go, wow, what do all these figures mean? But, and so the first starts out talking about all the number of kids and what ADM means and how these figures all mean. And so it's something that you can read and that way you can identify exactly what it all means. And then I went into all the general education revenue summaries and I said, okay, what does declining enrollment mean? And what does revenue mean? What does pension mean, and so forth. And so I put a description in there for you. And if you would take some time, and when you come back next board meeting, if you have any questions, because there's a lot of figures, there's 4 pages of information here. And this is what funds the school. This is the dollars that comes to us and where all the dollars come from. And it lays out exactly for our district. Like referendum, we get no dollars because we don't have a referendum. But what does it mean to do it? I gave you an example in there, what it would be, what it would mean, and so forth. And so, if you would take the time to read through those, and if you have any questions on any of them, come back to me next board meeting, we'll talk about it. You might want to write this down on the bottom of the last page. I should have put it on there, but I forgot. The total of all the funds for this year, here's the total of all the funds put together, is $10,268,570.58. $10,268,570.58. Now, if I told you that's fixed in stone, you should call me a liar, because it'll probably change tomorrow. Because it's fluid, it moves around. And as the federal government brings dollars down and so forth, and it changes. But just to give you a little bit of background, let me tell you what last year at this time. Last year at this time for the 24-25 district, the total of all funds was $10,853,963. $10,853,963. So just looking at the two total funds, if you subtract those two, it shows a reduction in funds of $585,000. Okay? Now, does that mean we're gonna be down $585,000? I don't think so. But at this point, right now, in September, that's where it's at. Now, I've spoke to you before, there is so much up in the air yet with the federal government and how it affects the state and what the state's gonna get, and what it doesn't. I look for that to more dollars to come to us. For right now, today, that's where it's at now, is we're down $585,000. So,
And that's fiscal year 26.
yeah, physical year. And so if you go back to the front 2 pages there that I gave you, the first page there, this is really confusing, but if you look at that front page and go down to where it says 2024-25 limitation, this is just talking about the levy that we're gonna maximize, or hopefully maximize. Last year was $2,956,955.99. Everybody see that figure there? It's in the middle of the page. 2004 paid 2005 limitation. $2,956,955.99. This year, our levy is going to bring into us $3,206,345.30. So just on the local levy, our district is going to get almost $250,000 more dollars. So the question becomes why? Why are we getting more dollars? So turn to the back of that page and let me show you. If you look and just go and look at the market value. Everybody find it left column, it says market value. We're always a year behind, guys, on the market value. It shows that last year we were at $1,580,000 market value in our district. This year at $1,687,000. that is, property valuation has gone up that much in 1 year. Now, what's gonna happen is that's gonna show to our stakeholders that their taxes are going up. And every year I get a half a dozen calls and say, why is the school changing and raising taxes? And I explained to them, we did not change a thing, and we haven't changed a thing for years. But why is it going up? Because the property valuation is going up, and they pay more taxes. So if anybody talks to you about the school raising taxes, the answer is, we are not raising taxes, you are paying more taxes, but it's because your property valuation is going up. And there's no doubt you're gonna be asked, because it is going up. And so, the next thing I wanna show you is the sales ratio down at the bottom. Property values have been going up so fast that the assessors at the county can't keep up. They're struggling to keep up. And so in 2021, according to sales of property tax, they were only at 89.5% with their collection of taxes on the evaluation. And then you can see it's going up, it went up, went down a little bit, 87, then 82. But this year, they're at 97.5%. So what does that mean? That they've caught up. They're almost at 100% saying, whatever the sales are now, the taxes are equal to it. So, and if you talk to any assessor, they don't want to be at 100%, they want to be slightly under where the sales are at. So they finally have caught up with what's going on there. Any questions on all that? So, what we're asking you is what we should certify the levy at. And we have always certified the maximum at this time. The county figures out what the maximum is. And then we have the truth end. We held a meeting in December there, and we set the actual levy. And so we still have an opportunity to lower it if we want to, but at least this will give us the max, showing us what that would look like for that meeting. So my recommendation to the district, to the board, is to certify the maximum levy authority. So that was a big roundabout to get to that. So that's where it's at.
Any questions?
Yeah,
Anybody
I've
question
never-
the
I've
math?
never done this before, obviously,
Okay.
so when you say we're authorizing the maximum, we're authorizing, is that like, we're authorizing 100%, or we are authorizing like 3.206345?
We're authorizing that the county will pay us the maximum that we have coming for the levy on the property.
Which is that 3.2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that answered my question. We don't say we want 97%.
No.
No,
No.
no,
And
just the maximum.
we've always asked for the maximum. Because we don't have, we don't ask for anything to support the school.
We don't have a referendum.
Right, we could ask for that, but we don't, we do it this way.
You know, if we passed a referendum, went to the stakeholders and they approved it, it would probably bring in $55,000, $60,000 extra to us. But we're one of the few districts that do not have a referendum. Just a handful of us. And I don't see the need to do it, guys, so.
I will make a motion to approve.
Commissioner Grant?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
On to item 10, approval of the 2025-2026 snow removal bid from Kyle Cook as per attached quote.
Kyle has done it for us for years. He's the only bid we get. He does an excellent job, and I would recommend that we approve Kyle. Because we've had 2 mild winters, we're about due for some snow this year. So-
Has this changed much from last year? I don't think it
No,
did.
it's very similar.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty much the same.
But he didn't do anything last year.
No, gonna make up for it this year. Okay, need a motion to approve this. Motion, was that Nick or no?
Nick.
Okay, I wasn't looking.
I'll second.
Alan seconds it.
That was it.
Yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Gee, does anybody want to adjourn this at, I don't have my phone.
7:46.
7:46.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Matt. Second?
I'll second. Give it to Bobby.
Bobby beat you, I think. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right, motion passed 5-0. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you very much, kids, for coming.
You're lucky it was a short